Okay, so we were holding. I'm sure they continued. We were pairing Bay's Mishnah Vav. I'm sure they learned. Yesterday I wasn't here. The Reuven gave the share. So I'll go.
They finished in Mizbeach.
Oh, they finished the whole Mizbeach already.
Not the first Mishnah Mizbeach.
Wow.
Yes, opinion and it stopped after they finished.
Okay, beautiful. So let's go to Perek Gimel. I guess I'll start Perek Gimel Mishnah Aleph. Perek Gimel Mishnah Aleph.
Why did they finish Mizbeach?
Right. No, so that's the beginning of the Mizbeach. I'm just doing the model. They use the model.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, you didn't know there was a model there.
They didn't use the model.
Oh, that would have been so easy.
That makes life more simple. I wrote it special. Okay. So Mizbeach Shloshim B'Shtayim Al Shloshim B'Shtayim was 32 ames on 32 ames. Now I'm going to say an amazing fact that not many people know. We know that the rulos of Eretz Yisrael were extremely meduyik, were exact, but people don't realize how exact they were. If you notice the Mizbeach, it had 32 ames from here until here, okay? But over here it was just 31 because
It's better than mentioned yesterday.
yeah, he mentioned it. Beautiful. That it says Binyamin Ze'ev Yitrach, Binyamin Chaptarayin from Yehuda took part of the Beis Hamikdash, and this was Binyamin's chelik, and therefore they weren't allowed to have more. And this was already
It's interesting. How would it used by Binyamin Ze'ev Ma'ila? And the Rebbe explains that this
and that's mistakes.
Yeah.
So when we say Shloshim V'Shtayim Al Shloshim V'Shtayim, it's not really through surrounding the entire Mizbeach. Rather, it's 32 at the widest points of the Mizbeach. So this is 32 ames by 32 ames. But then there's an imaginary extra am over here. So Shloshim V'Shtayim Al Shloshim V'Shtayim is 32, 32. And now when it goes in from two sides, it goes down, you shave down 2 ames. So from 32 to it's 30. Let's make the whole cheshbon on outside, and then we'll see it inside, okay? So now from 32 to 30, now it went up another 5 ames, and then in 1 amma. So now it's 28. That went up another 4 ames, and then the keren, and then, so now it's, what was it, 28. Now the place of the kronos, we're going to go deeper in, take down 1 amma from between the kronos, now it's going to 26. And then there was another amma makam. If you look closely, you'll see it's a dip here. That's makam hiluch raglei akayanim. So take off an amma from each side. Kumtais that the makam hamaracha was 24 by 24. This is the first day of the Mishnah. We'll see the next day holds that it's instead of 32, it was 28. And if it's 28, so just minus from the end result 4. Starting instead of 32, it's starting 4 amas less. So the cheshbon is the same. It just boils down instead of 24 to 20.
Just the point that before is so interesting. Where the day that says that what happened was different between the Mason and the Mason later, they just pointing out, he's saying, no. But you add that he says what happens when the Gaylor added 4 more. What did they add? They didn't add it, the Shepherd Youngin. And the state over there is exactly the ones. And it's added more to the Glemis Melopis, right? Because over there was that Haley was still going to Young.
Right.
When you added, they didn't tell them.
Very interesting. Then when they added, we'll soon see that Kol Day is hold that it reached 24 in the middle. But it was an addition afterwards, but Yossi is pointing out.
First one was the shita of the first place in Midrash.
Right.
And then the second one is also the first place in Midrash. And they all agree with the second.
Right. Okay, so let's see it inside. Mizbeach HaShloshim V'Shtayim at its widest point was 32 Shloshim V'Shtayim. Ola Amma V'Kanas Amma Zeh HaYisod. It went up an Amma and in an Amma. That bottom piece is considered the Yisod, the foundation of the Mizbeach. Nimtza now we're holding is 30. Nimtza Shloshim Al Shloshim because we went in 1 Amma from both sides. Ola Chamish go up 5 Ammas. Bekonis Amma. So you go up another 5 amas and you go in an amma. Now it is Nimtza Esrim B'Shmoin. Is that Soiviv? This is the Soiviv. The Soiviv was the place that a kohen was able to go up onto this ramp and on the side and go around the Mizbeach. This was for Chatas Ha'oif, which was Nimtza Dama El Keren Mizbeach. He had to press it on do Malika and press it on the wall of the Mizbeach. And any time this Rikas Adam was above the Chut HaSikra, he was meant to sprinkle the blood above this red line, which was the middle of the Mizbeach. You go up. This was called the Soiviv. So he says, Al Chamish Amas, you go up 5 Amas, and now you go in an Amas Zah Soiviv. Nimtza Esen B'Shmoin.
That's what I want to point out right now. You don't put it in perspective with the height of his back. What is it like? Let's say to how it was locked and couldn't see from there, like directly into it was 6 floors high. What was the height of this bay was 3 amas.
No.
How old was it?
10 Amas. So it's also very high.
20
like 2 floors.
Sorry. It's 2 floors high. An amma is 2 feet. More than 2 feet.
Yeah, according to
Oh no, the mean of Daniels is 18 inches.
right, but it depends on
Whatever. It's definitely very, very.
It's a ship.
Huge. Someone
We're
fell.
talking about, yeah, possible. It's possibly 24 inches, possibly 18 inches.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it's just
It was very high.
Yeah, I had somebody that was concerned. It's going to be hard to walk with. You have someone who's concerned, and it's an 18 inch, it's a lot harder to walk around.
Okay, so from the place of the Soiviv, let's continue inside. From the place of the Soiviv, it's very, very high. Soon I'll give a few examples where you see how high the Mizbeach was. So he says the Soiviv, once you go in for the Soiviv, now you're left 28 on 28, and then go up. He doesn't continue the cheshbon until the top, but we know that make the cheshbon. This is 5, 6. So there's three amas you go up, and 7, 8, 9, and then the kronis were in the Shanol. Altogether was 10 amas.
Half the height of the menorah, it's in central park.
Right. It's 20 amas, right? The kitzer. So now when you get up to the top, you go in 1 amma. So the makam kronis, amma mizad. The place of the kronis, there was an amma from each side between them. That shetach. Go in 1 amma. And then nimtza esem v'sheish. Now take off another 2 ammas, 1 amma from each side. Makom hilach ragla kohenim. Makom hilach ragla kohenim amma mizad mizad. Nimtza esem v'arba lesser amma makom marach. The place where the fires actually took place were 24 ammas and 24 ammas. Amar Rabbi Yosef. We're going to make the same exact cheshbon of the amount of height we go up and the amount we go in, but instead of starting at 32, we're going to start at 28, which is 4 amas less, which is going to automatically leave us at the end with, instead of 24, it's going to leave us with 20. You make the same cheshbon where you go up. 20 and 20. When people came up from the Golos, the second, with Ezra and Nehemiah, then Haisifol of Arba Amos, and as Rabbi Yossi pointed out, it was Minadorim or Minamayriv. It was only in the Shetach of Binyamin, not to add to the Shetach of Reuven. Rabbi Yehuda, they didn't let it the fastest, right? Even want to make it bigger. Now, we'll soon see why did they decide. They came up, they wanted more kabbanas. Why did they decide to add?
And that's a huge spot as it is.
Right.
It's 20 amas.
20 amas.
That's the size of that menorah. Make that square.
Right.
It's
20 amas.
20 amas. It's
huge. No, the width.
The width on top where they would put
Take Rabbi Butman's menorah, and that height translated into
put it down.
Put it down, and that's the length. So why did they decide to add
20 amas?
Huh?
Yeah.
20 amas.
So that's the Makom HaMarach, according to this day. They decided we're adding another 4 amas. Why?
They're probably using the sheet for the sheet. They know about 18 inches.
Still nistim about design. So Bekitzer, why? Because when the Yidden went into Golos, everybody knows one of the reasons why we're learning Maseches Midos is that the Eibusher told Yechezkel, gave him a nevuah that had exactly the measurements of the Beis Hamikdash. Now this nevuah he wasn't able to translate simply. Most of it wasn't able to be translated, and therefore the Yidden tried to adapt as much as they could in the second Beis Hamikdash to what they didn't know. So here people came up from the second from the Golos. They wanted one thing that they did understand was the Pshat and how big the Makam HaMa'aracha was according to Yechezkel. And they'll show us this pasuk, and that's why we'll know that they added. Why? Kimin Gamma. They added it like a Gamma, which is like a Reish. It's like a Nun, basically, a backwards one. The Shenemar, why? Because it says in the pasuk in Yechezkel, Ariel, which refers to a lion. And we take this to be the Mizbeach that was eating, that was taking on behalf of the Eibusher. There was a lion of fire eating the Karbanis. It was 12 square amas. Ravua, square. Yachol shein el shteimesrei. So it was in the middle should have been 12. So no. So oimer el arbas revav. It means this was the measurement to the 4 quarters. When he said 12 amas square, is he's counting from the middle in any which direction, it was 12. But if you put them all together, they would be 24. Yeah. So B'meila, when they knew this is Pshat, they changed the Mizbeach based on the new Nevuah they had, right? We can't always get stuck with what we were comfortable doing. Now we have a new Avodah, we got a new message that the Eibusher has to do. Now, chutz from them, there was v'chut hasikra, a red marking. Chut, he calls it, a string. Choigre be'emtza, that was gartling around the mizbeach in the middle. Right. But here it means really, it is the same. Be'emtza means that it was 5 amas up. So if we make the cheshbon, it's really not exactly the way it is on this model. Rather, it's 1 amma below. Because we said Allah Amma, this is 1 Amma, and then it went up 5. And then we said it's 10. So the 5th Amma, the Emtza, is 1 Amma below the Soiviv, which is 5 Ammas from the floor. To separate between them, because there's a chiyuv, some the Chatas Behema and Oil Sa'oif, those two have to be sprinkled above. The Oil Sa'oif, sorry, I mentioned before Chatzah, I meant the Oil Sa'oif. That's where they did Malika and squeezed it al on his back. So this would separate between them. Now he's going back to discuss the Yisoid. Vayisoid the Mizbeach HaMahalach al Pnei Kol HaTzafoin Val Pnei Kol HaMayrev Va'oicha Badorim Ama Achel V'Mizrach Ama Achas. So that's him. It covered the entire Ma'ariv side and the entire Tzafin side. From Durham, it ate an Amma into that direction, and same goes from the Mizrach side. It ate an Amma. And okay, one more Nakuda that we'll discuss first outside and then see it inside is the 2 Nekavim which were for Shiyare Hadam. There were 2 holes that there's where they poured the extra blood. Shiyare Hadam Shefel Yisoidroim Yisoid Maravi. There were 2 Yisoides. That's what they were called. What is this? Basically, every carbon based on its status, that's where they pour the leftovers. The carbonas that were nasa l'fnai b'l'fnim, chatos parhalom davishal tzibur or chatos nasi, very special carbonas. In the on Yom Kippur, the par that was mechaper on the koyanim and the soil Hashem, all the blood that was sprinkled in the kodesh, their leftovers were spilled in the Yisoid Ma'arabi, the hole that was closest and right across Ma'ariv side. Masha Enkein, the rest of the carbonas, which are lesser status, we already know which side they would end up on in the base. In English, it would be on Durham side, because Shvidasam Chol Makom Hazar was symbolized by Durham. And therefore, the rest of the carbonas were poured in the Yisoid Droim. And we're going to discuss what happened with the blood after it went down. Let's see it inside Pergam Mishnah Beis. Over Karen Marav is Droimis on that corner. Hayushnei Nekavim. There were two holes. Kimin Shnei Chotmen Dakin, like two nostrils. Shadamim Nitanim Al Yesod Maravi. By Yesod Droimi, there were bloods that were poured here in this Yesod and in this Yesod, and they would be Yerdim Bahem Misarvim Ba'amal. They would go down and pour into a stream. V'yotzim B'Nachal L'Nachal Kidron, and they would go up to the Kidron Valley. Over there, there's a stream, and they would actually pay money to use that water. It was mashbiach. It had certain brachas within it, and the farmers not to be moil or to donate to the Beis Hamikdash would sponsor, and they would use it. And they would have to go down over there once in a while to clean. There was a makam amal on the floor to be able to open it up and go down and clean up that whole shaft, that whole area. Actually, if I remember correctly, there's a medrash that says that by Hanukkah, when they found the flask of oil, they found it down there. That's where they found it. And basically, it's called a shis. The mata baritva ba'oisa karen makom yesham amal amma. There was one amma on one amma v'tavla shel shayish, and a balata, a tile of marble was there with the basei sakwa. But there was a ring in it, so you could pick it up. Shabbat yardin lashis. They would go down to this shis, which is the underground tunnel, and I say and clean it. And I'm going to talk about the kevesh. The kevesh heard the droimishal mizbeach. Kevesh was on the Durham side of the mizbeach. Shloshim v'shtayim. The length was 32 amas on a height, so it's a little less if you do it straight. It's 32 measuring this way. Al sheshes re'am. And roichav sheshes, the width of 16. Amas b'revuva haisalei b'maravi. This is Meir's side. There was a box in the kevesh of the mizbeach where they would put shesham hayunoisnim psulei chatas ha'oif. Basically, a woman that has to bring a carbon for giving birth. There's many details that she has to take into account. Okay, can it be nischayev? The size of, let's say, if one's son she was stillborn or a miscarriage, so it has to have a certain shape to be considered a leida of a child, and has to be a certain point in the pregnancy, and then she has to bring a carbon as if it was a pregnancy. Less than that, it's as if it was just dam. And basically, the din is that ala safek she would bring a chatas ha'oif, but you can't be makir. Let's say she wasn't sure at what point it was in the pregnancy, or if it was a vlad. So she would bring a chatas ha'oif, which does go, as we mentioned, the chatas ha'oif goes up on the mizbeach and up on the soiviv and all the way down. But they couldn't be makriv. They sprinkled the blood, but they couldn't be makriv on the mizbeach, so they're not sure. And therefore, they would put it in the revuva, in this box that was in the till it passed its time, which was, I think, that a day and a night. So the next morning, it was already noiser, and then they would burn it. Mashenkin, if oif became possible, they would burn it right away. This is the hechetin. So this is what the revuva was for. It just finishes the revuva is like marabai. There was this box carved out on the Meir side of the mizbeach. Shasham noisnim psulei chatas ha'oif. There they would put the evarim of the chatas ha'oif that was possible or waiting to become totally possible because it was all suffered. The shukayah.